You see, in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, the preacher says, God is in heaven, and you are on earth, under the sun. You're mortal. Therefore, fear God. Think about the person with whom you have to do. Proverbs 1 says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That's the starting point for knowing anything worthwhile. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And our passage in verse 7 says, God is the one you must fear. God is the one you must fear. Not fear of mistreatment or abuse. There are plenty of people that we're afraid of because they will do wrong by us. They will treat us badly. They will not do what is right. They will abuse us or mistreat us. Plenty of people that we're afraid of because they're bad people. Don't fear God because He's bad. He won't abuse you or mistreat you. Fear God because He is so good, and because He is so just, and because He knows all things, and there's nothing in your heart or in your life that's hidden from Him. That's why you need to fear God, because you can't escape Him. There's nowhere you can go in heaven or on earth that you're beyond God's notice or beyond His claim on you. The long arm of the law, well, God's law, God's arm is even longer. There's no escape. And so the reason you should fear God is because you are going to stand before Him one day and have to make an account of yourself. When you stand before God and He's seated on the throne in all of His glory and splendor, you can't even gaze upon Him because of His holiness and glory. I don't know how long you'll be there in front of that holy judge giving an account of yourself. I don't know whether that will last 5 minutes that you'll be in front of God, or if it'll be 5 hours, or in eternity if you'll spend 5 days or 5 years or 5 centuries giving an account of yourself before God renders a judgment in your case. But you will stand before God, and at the end of that judgment, He will render a verdict. At that moment, He will either usher you into eternal bliss and glory, having declared you not guilty on the basis of Jesus Christ's shed blood, or you will depart from that into eternal death and darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I am so afraid for so many people in our culture precisely because they do not fear God. For so many people, God, even people who believe in God, the God that they believe in is a God of their own imagination. You ask them what they believe about God, and what it turns out is that the God that they've invented in their own minds is someone who exists basically always to excuse them, Martin Lloyd-Jones said. Someone who exists only to excuse them and to justify everything that they do. The God that they supposedly believe in is a God whom they can always call on, who's always sympathetic, always takes their side of the dispute, will always help them out when they're broke or when they're in bad health or having relationship troubles, but demands absolutely nothing